continue today's press conference with head coach Pascal Jansen. If you have any questions, please raise your hand. Let's kick it off in the room. Roberto?
Hi, Pascal. In the last two games, I think the consistency of the way the team has played seems to be showing in a very positive way. What's your outlook? I mean, what's your take on the way the team has played since coming back from the break?
Positive. I'm very happy with a lot of things that I've seen so far, but also it tells the story of us becoming even better than we are at the moment, because there's still a lot of work to be done. Obviously the offensive part of the game has shown some good progress, but again, there's also quite a few areas where we need to improve ourselves, and that is something that we have to realize always, because you can't just sit back and relax and think, well, we did okay during the first two games after the break, and we'll be fine.
Well, that comes to my second question, which in a way you sort of answered. What are the areas that you think that you need to do better in?
Well, it's basically remaining consistent over longer periods of time during a game. When we were still in pre-season, I remember a phase against Red Bull also, very strong, solid first half. But then after halftime, we switched off for about 10 minutes and conceded multiple chances and a few goals. And that is something that has to be banned from our system. So that is one thing, remaining more consistent throughout a game. And you can tell that we are able to remain consistent over bigger periods of time in the games, but it's not consistent enough.
Injuries sometimes lead to opportunities, and in a way it might be an opportunity for the team as opposed to an individual. But James Sands seems to be playing very, very solidly next to Martins in the middle of the defense. One can make an argument that might be your best two central defenders. How do you see it so far? And does James really improve the defense as much as we seem to think, or at least I do?
Yeah, for sure. But you know Jimmy even better than I do. I've seen Jimmy for a bit now, a couple of weeks, and he's doing fine. You can see he's grown a lot since he came back again from the German adventure, but had to help the team in a different position that he might have thought he would be playing now. Obviously, he has his qualities in midfield. He's helping out in the back four, but we have a lot of conversations, including videos, specific scenarios where we try to get him to understand what it is to play centre-back next to Thiago and how much advantage it will bring and give him getting himself into areas or spaces or in scenarios where he can act like a midfield player. So as long as he progresses and as long as the team looks solid and stable, it's something that we enjoy watching.
Couple more. Luigi was finally announced this week.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what you see in him, and when is he going to be game ready to be able to make his debut?
Yeah, it looks like he will be available for minutes once we start the Leagues Cup. He will not be eligible to play against Toronto just yet, due to the paperwork, and you know how messy those things can be in the US. But we're very happy that he chose to come and support this project in New York. Luigi is a very talented Brazilian striker. He's only 20 years old, but looks very mature in the way he plays. He gives us a different dynamic up front as a number 9. Obviously, he's technically very skillful. A lot of potential. Hopefully he will be able to score and get himself into attacking positions as much as possible the way we want to play. But he gives us a little more flexibility in what kind of profile we look up front for the number 9 position.
And lastly, can you give us an injury report?
Yeah, well, the usual suspects, unfortunately, still there. Guys like Kai, Ado, Maxi Morales, Drew Baera, they have severe injuries, of course, and will be out of play for quite a while. Even though Aiden looks very positive, it looks less worse than we anticipated, if that's the correct way to express it. We have Raul, who's still there, but on his way back. I think he will take another 2, maybe 3 weeks, then he will be back with us. Kevin O'Toole, however, is the positive one. He ticked all the boxes as of today and will be joining the squad again. And the same goes for Mac, the goalkeeper. He will be back. So slowly but surely, everybody's getting back.
Keaton?
Yeah, Keaton Parks is also in a good place. Hopefully he will be cleared for some group sessions, maybe even by the end of next week.
And you might have had an injury today?
Yes, unfortunately in training today, Arnau got himself injured. We'll just have to wait and see how severe it is.
Thank you.
Alex?
Hi, Coach. As was mentioned previously, you guys have had a strong start back after the break. I wanted to ask you, how do you keep that momentum going, whether it's from you as a coach or the team as a whole? Like, how do you keep that going when you started off with some success?
Yeah, that's always the challenging part. Obviously, we do the things like we normally do, making sure that we're fully prepared for each and every game. We like to think of ourselves as the best prepared team in the league, so that is something that keeps the standard very high. Then it's also about shared responsibility. The locker room has their own way of dealing with things. We as a staff have our way of dealing with things, and we find each other in order to keep each other competitive and on our toes, and be very aware of the fact that a great start after a break is interesting, but it's about remaining consistent and keep making progress in order to become better than the last game.
Great. And then my second question is a little more fun. I don't know if you know this, but Friday is Harry Potter night, one of our theme nights. I'm not sure if you're a big fan, but do you happen to know what Hogwarts house you are?
What was the house you mentioned earlier on?
Gryffindor. I feel like you
That's
would be
the
a
one.
Gryffindor. That would. It's not I think you would be. I personally think if I took the quiz in your brain that you would be a Gryffindor. So maybe you can take it later and you can tell me whether I'm right or wrong.
I will let you know.
Thank you, Coach.
Onto the Zoom, Christian Hennig.
Hi, Coach. First question, that third goal against Chicago, that was some really great team play. I know it's very difficult to define a team's tactics through one goal, but is that kind of the excellence level that you're striving for with this group?
Well, it's one moment where we showed some real qualities in the things that we like to show on pitch and identify ourselves with. You see a few breaking lines. You see calm and composed decision making on the ball with Cavallo. Good positioning from Pepe, ready and aware of his time and space, and good footwork. Nice ball in between, in the space between the defenders, and Agustin Ojeda, who is in great form, having multiple choices that he can make, and made the pass back to Malachi in order to tap it in. So good teamwork, but also, as I described just now, a lot of things that we try to embed in our game style.
And if I can follow up, Nico's goal,
Yeah.
an incredibly special strike.
Yeah.
There wasn't without consequence, though. It did seem to damage one of the Apple cameras. Are you willing to pay some of the bill for that if you can produce more strikes like that?
Well, if he makes another 12 like this, then who knows? They can send me the bill.
Michael Ander.
Hey, Pascal, it's Mike Ander from Blue City Radio. Thanks as always for the
I
time.
might, yeah, of course.
Can you talk to me a little bit about James Sands? Obviously, with the injuries you have, in some places the lineup writes itself, but when everyone is fit, where do you see James as best position for you?
Well, that's going to be the interesting part. Time, place, and circumstances will determine this. As you know, if you look at our game schedule and what's ahead, we have quite a few lined up. So it's only very positive to have a guy like Jimmy Sands available in the squad, because he's one of the hybrid players and can help us with a lot of quality in whatever position we put him in. So at the moment, he is the best option for us to play next to Thiago. But obviously, he can also manage himself in midfield quite decent. So we'll just have to see game by game what's necessary.
Mike, do you have another one?
No, sorry. Thank you.
Any other questions on the Zoom? Any other in the room? Perfect. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's pre-match press conference ahead of our match against Toronto FC on Friday at Yankee Stadium. Today we have defender Nico Cavallo. If you have any questions, please raise your hand. Roberta?
Nico, can you talk about the way the team has come out in the first two games since coming back from the break? It seems to be a very consistent, positive start for the second half of the season.
Yeah, no, I think the first two games were good showings of us and how much work we've put in over the World Cup break and leading up into the second half of the season. I think maybe outside looking in, people might be surprised just that you see, the injuries we've had, but I think the depth has really shown through, and we've been able to create new relationships with new guys coming in, and been able to put out like a good output on the field. So,
speaking of relationships, you and Malachi Jones seem to have been able to find each other on the left side. Can you talk a little bit about what it is like playing with him?
Yeah, no, it's been great to finally really get a good stretch of games where it's been me and him consistently. I feel like we have similar qualities in that we both want to stretch the field vertically and both want to get after guys. And I think finding the balance of letting him work, and he understands that sometimes like I'm going to be there for him and whatnot. So it's been good.
What's your mentality about starting right now, obviously with Kevin O'Toole out? How does that work when he all of a sudden now becomes available soon? And how does that affect you in any way?
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, like I'm excited for him to get back. I think me and him have had a great relationship since I've been here, both on and off the field. I think from a competitive aspect, I think we push ourselves. I think it's made me a better player, and I hope he can say the same thing as well. So I guess for me, I'm just looking forward to having him practice day in, day out, and pushing each other. So.
One last one. You mentioned that you're a better player since because of him, and I'm sure a whole bunch of other things going on. Where is the area where you think that you've improved the most, and where do you think you still have work to do?
Yeah, I mean, I think work to do is definitely just being able to put consistent performances together. I think I've had games where I've played well, and then the next week it's a little bit of a drop off. And so I think for me, I'm really focusing on the consistency aspect, especially in the defensive third, and not trying to be a liability for the team there. And I mean, I think just for me, just my confidence has grown since being here. I think a lot of times last year I was in a situation where I was just happy to be there and going through the motions, and I think this year, having the confidence has allowed me to play freer and play better on the ball. So,
thank you.
Alex?
Hi, Nico. Are there any more veteran players on the team who you look to for guidance, whether that's on or off pitch? And how do you think that sort of mentorship within the team helps build community and helps you guys on pitch as well?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily call Kevin a veteran, but he's been here for a while, so I think that relationship, especially position-wise, has been helpful for me. And then just from the team standpoint, I mean, Thiago is obviously the easiest guy to go to for that stuff, and he's always willing to give information and help where needed. So.
Awesome. My second question is, I'm not sure if you knew this, but our match on Friday is Harry Potter night. So I was going to ask you, do you know what Hogwarts house you are?
I mean, no, but I would say Slytherin. I'd say, yeah, we'll go Slytherin.
That's a popular answer on the team.
Popular.
Great.
I would expect everyone to say Gryffindor because, why not? But I'll take it.
Thank you, Nico.
You're welcome.
Jumping onto the Zoom, Andrew?
Hi, Nico. I'm Andrew Lee with New York Soccer Journal. Thank you for taking the time. I just wanted to ask since you joined the club, what the coaching staff has sort of focused on or emphasized with you as being able to get to this level of being a starter for now 9 straight games with the team. Just the progression that they asked you and have focused on with your game since getting here.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of how I've progressed started with the kind of confidence on the ball and being able to be part of our build-up and be part of also how we get forward. And so I think a lot of what I've been able to do, especially in the past few games where I've started, is help that and help kind of progress from the defensive third to the final third and getting forward.
Christian Arnold?
Hey, Nico, appreciate the time. Christian Arnold with the New York Post. I was just curious, maybe you could give us a little more insight too. Just the last couple matches defensively, it seems like there's been some really strong play. Just coming out of the World Cup break and I guess really during that time period where you had almost basically a second training camp. Well, was there an emphasis put on what you guys can do better defensively, or what do you attribute to sort of that strong start out of the gate here in this almost second season, if you will?
Yeah, I mean, I think just from an identity standpoint, I think we always pride ourselves on having that defensive intensity, and obviously we've been able to prove that in these last 2 games. We would have loved to keep clean sheets in both of them, and this Friday we'll hope to do that again. But I think just from a mentality standpoint, we always try and make sure that the defensive intensity is like going to be there, and it's going to be shown through all 10 guys on the field.
Christian Henage.
Hi, Nico. You mentioned trying to get more consistency there and maybe playing with freedom. For you, is the physical journey or the mental journey the more tricky one in terms of getting that consistency?
I think it's probably a little bit of both. Obviously, I went from a standpoint of not playing and then playing 90 minutes week in, week out, and so it did take a little bit of toll on the body, and I think at times fatigue plays a part in that. But at the end of the day, just from a mental standpoint, if I go in there and believe and kind of say, like, hey, like it's just another game, like there's no reason to think of it any different, then it shouldn't be a problem.
Andrew, do you have another one?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, so the team has added a few new players since the end of the previous World Cup portion in terms of Benny Traore, Luigi yesterday announced, even James Sands coming back. How has it been integrating those guys and getting the kind of chemistry going and just first impressions of playing alongside them?
Yeah, it's been good, and similar to kind of relationship I've been building with Malachi, I feel like I'm right in the mix for building relationships with all the guys who have come in. Benny's played a little bit on the left, and then obviously Jimmy coming back and playing left center back. And so it's been important for me to kind of understand all of their play styles and how I can kind of fit in the role of both helping the team and helping them as well. So I think it's been good for me. I've enjoyed playing with Jimmy at the back, and I think we've been able to kind of hold it down a little bit out there, as well as keep the ball in possession. And then Benny, same thing with Malachi, just trying to put him in the best situations where he can do what he does best and attack.
Christian Henage, do you have another one?
I do, yeah. Just building off that, I guess the squad is quite a cosmopolitan one. From a very selfish defensive standpoint, how does that make you better playing against players from across the globe?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's also hard on me. We day in, day out, I'm going against Agu and Hannes and Malachi, and so playing against them definitely helps me defensively. Although they kind of make it look silly at times, but yeah, it's good.
Any more on the Zoom? Any more in the room? Alrighty.